Hey there, welcome to Craft Central Designs. Check out this beautiful wood heart sign made from the plain wood crafting heart from Hobby Lobby and scrapbook paper. I am loving this one in gorgeous reds and pinks. I hope you love it as well, and I hope you feel inspired to make one. Welcome to all to my channel today, and please consider subscribing if you have not done so already. And as well, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy and appreciate this Valentine's Day DIY tutorial. And of course, I love receiving your comments. Okay, let me show you how I transformed a very plain wood heart cutout into this very colorful Valentine's Day decoration. Let's look at the items that you will need to create this piece. I have here the wood heart cutout. This is from Hobby Lobby. It was $3.99 and it was 40% off of the $3.99. So that's very affordable for this wood heart. It's very sturdy and well made, and I think it is an excellent piece to create a Valentine's Day decoration. I got 3 different scrapbook papers in a Valentine's Day theme at Hobby Lobby. Every other week they're 40% off. So I got these 3 that I'm going to use on this piece, and each one of them is so pretty. So this is going to make a very colorful, very festive, very pretty piece. There's another option there with little red hearts. I didn't use that one, but they actually have multiple choices there. So I chose those 3. Now I have these wood hearts. I'm using 3 of them. I absolutely love the shape of these wood hearts. They're my absolute favorite of all wood hearts. However, I could not find these anywhere, not at any local store or even Amazon. So I had to order mine from Temu, but it's not necessary to have that exact wood heart. There are plenty of other hearts available at Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and Amazon. You can use any shape heart that you like. I just happen to favor that particular shape of a heart, so I ended up finally going to Temu to find them. I'm going to use a white satin wired ribbon, 1.5 inch. Now, I do have another choice here for ribbons, but I knew this was going to be not quite the match for the red, so I decided to go with the white satin. I'm going to create a hanger with that ribbon. Now, this is the way I'm going to position my hearts on this wood piece. I also have a little wood cutout that says love. At Hobby Lobby, they have a package of little letters like that. And I believe there's one that's XOXO. There's one that says love. And there's another one. I can't remember offhand at the moment what's in the package. But all of their Valentine's Day materials and items are 40% off. It comes in a small package. I believe they have a similar one at the Dollar Tree, and I believe it's in the Crafter's Square section. So I would check that out. I believe it's a little bit bigger, but will still definitely work for this piece. All right, so I am going to be placing scrapbook paper on each of my sections of this heart. Now this heart is around 15 inches wide at the largest area of the heart. So consequently, I'm going to have to piece my scrapbook paper in order to, have it cover that first 2 sections of that heart. So I placed my heart on my scrapbook paper, traced around it with a pencil, and I cut that out. Now I'm doing the bottom section. I did the top section and the bottom section with the same scrapbook paper. Now that's totally up to you. You could use 4 different scrapbook papers. You could paint it, although I'm not sure that's the greatest idea because that's that MDF wood, and the paint has takes on a different color somehow when you paint. Like I painted that piece on the sides and the back with a beautiful red paint, and on the piece after it dries it looks like a dark red. It's just not a great piece for painting. I would go with a scrapbook paper if I were you, but if you want to go ahead and paint it, you're probably going to have to put on at least 3 layers of paint. So now I'm cutting out my scrapbook paper for the other sections. Another thing you could do is add embellishments to each of the sections. If you painted it, you could do polka dots, just all kinds of options. You could use laces, you could use trims, you could just really get so creative with this piece. Now this second section down from the top, I'm going to have to piece that one as well. This does take a little bit of patience. Once you cut out your piece, you're going to have to look at the pattern on the scrapbook paper and try to cut out a piece that will match up so that you can piece it on the piece. Piece it on the piece. That makes sense, but it really does make sense. So that's what I'm doing here. Now, another tip, little trick that I use is when I have to piece something with scrapbook paper, I try to place my seam somewhere on the piece where I think I can camouflage the seam. And in this case, I did so perfectly with one of my wood hearts. So keep that in mind. So what I do is I just look over the pattern of the scrapbook paper, and I try and find some way that I can piece it together so that it will match the pattern on the scrapbook paper. This is very doable. You just have to have the patience to sit there and match it up. And once you do, just cut out the piece, and then everything will be Mod Podged right onto that wood heart. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to match up my pattern. Now, in this case, I was using hearts, so I had to really take some time to properly match up that scrapbook paper. Now, again, I have something to camouflage it a bit, but still, for the most part, I want to try and make it look as perfect as I can in matching up that pattern. So fortunately, you're only going to have to match up 2 patterns for this piece, so it really isn't that big of a deal. Just take your time. This is the only complex part of this whole project. It is really an easy project, and I would say a rather quick project. And it turns out so pretty. Absolutely love this one. And it's a very minimal cost as well. A few sheets of scrapbook paper, a little bit of paint, and that wood crafting heart, which is only, it was $4 minus 40% off. So that's a very affordable project. Now, I like to use my paper cutter for very straight lines. It isn't necessary, however. An old-fashioned ruler will do the same trick. So I just love my paper cutter. So now what I'm doing is trying to get that pattern match as close as I possibly can. And once I have that done, I'll be ready to put all those scrapbook papers on that heart. but I am going to paint it first. Now, whatever color you paint it is completely up to you and the patterns on the hearts and the colors that you're using on the piece. Now, this is what it's going to look like. These are my 3 hearts. I'm going to be positioning those down the left side of the heart. Now, depending on what scrap paper you use, you can either cover your hearts with scrapbook paper. I would choose a very small pattern if you're going to do that, because the hearts are smaller, or just paint them, which is exactly what I did. I ended up just opting to paint mine. This Crafters Collection, I believe that's the name of the brand. It's at Hobby Lobby. I'm using the color red. Yes, that's what it's called. It doesn't have a fancy name. It's just called red, but it happens to be a very beautiful red that really goes well with my scrapbook paper. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to paint the back of my sign just to have it all finished. I'm going to paint all of the outside edges as well as all the edges in between the sections of the heart, and those wood pieces that hold the heart together right there. I'm going to paint those as well. Now, as I mentioned previously, this is that type of wood that kind of soaks the paint in. So if you're going to just paint it, you're probably going to have to put, as I mentioned before, a few layers to try and get a good color. All right, so I am ready to put on my scrapbook paper. So you can see I've done all of my painting. And now it's time for my Mod Podge. I'm just going to use my handy dandy squirt bottle and squirt on my Mod Podge. And I'm going to use a sponge applicator, which you could purchase anywhere. Dollar Tree, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, anyone will have these. Even Home Depot has these. And so I'm going to put a nice layer of Mod Podge, making sure that I go all the way out to the tips and the edges so that my scrapbook paper adheres very well throughout the entire section. I do use a little piece of balled up saran wrap. That's the way I like to smooth out my scrapbook paper. So I'm going to begin placing all of my different scrapbook papers on my heart. And I'm just going to smooth it out with my hand initially. Then I'm going to take my saran wrap. Now, for the edges, I do have a zip sander, sanding block, sandpaper, all those things. But I always hesitate with a beautiful, heavier scrapbook paper such as this one to clean up my edges with that zip sander. I started to do it on this piece, and then I ended up just opting to right there. I tried doing it, and I wasn't crazy. I was worried that it was going to scrape up my paint that I already took so much time to put on there. And I just wasn't crazy about what it was doing on the edge of the paper. So I just went around with my sharp scissors and I just trim it up. I think that's perfectly fine to do that. Everything doesn't have to be sanded on the edges just because you're using scrapbook paper. Now I was trying it again to see if I liked the effect of it, and I just saw that it was starting to scrape up the sides of the piece. And I said, no, I am not going to do this. I'm going to use my scissors. Yeah, because I didn't want to, take a chance on messing up my scrapbook paper as well as just scraping up the paint that I just diligently applied to the sides of my heart. So most often when I do this, I just turn it over and I do it from the back side. And I used my sharp scissors. And that you can clean up your edges just fine like that. Look how pretty this is. Oh my goodness. I think this is one of my favorite Valentine's Day DIYs of the past few years. All right, so I did paint my hearts. And I'm going to position them, tilting them different directions, all going down the left side of my heart. I'm also using them to camouflage that seam on my scrapbook paper. You will never notice the seam on my pieces. Now I'm showing you here some options if you don't have those hearts like I used. I have a number of different types of hearts there. They are from the Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, anywhere that sells the wood cutout hearts. There's different types that you could use. Now, you're going to have to fill up the little hole on those. That one's from Hobby Lobby. That's a cute option from the Dollar Tree. I'm showing you there. Got to fill up the holes. But you could paint those red, and that's a very pretty one, and use those instead. But those particular hearts, I was not able to find anywhere, and that's my favorite shape of a heart. I love that kind of whimsical look to that heart, and I got mine on Temu. Every now and then, I'll order something, a few things on Temu, and then I'm going to use my little love cutout words. I have seen this at the Dollar Tree too as well, by the way, but I got mine at Hobby Lobby, as I mentioned in the materials intro. And I'm just going to put that on the right side in the second section. I am just loving the way this is looking. Now I'm going to use Aleene's Tacky Glue. And I'm going to place my hearts on my heart. And this piece is this simple. It's really, really a simple, easy project that I think is even good for the novice crafter. As I mentioned before, the only part that's a little bit tricky but very doable is matching up the seams in that scrapbook paper. But there's really no way around it. Scrapbook paper is only 12 by 12. And that piece is about 15 inches across, maybe 14 and a half, 15 inches. So therefore, there's no option. You have to piece it. Okay, now I'm going to let that dry, and I am going to create a hanger for this piece. Now, you could go any direction you like for that. You could use a cord. You could use a narrow ribbon. You could use a wider ribbon, like a 1.5 inch. I'm going to use a white satin. I didn't want to try to match the pinks with the ribbons. That is always such a chore, really, to match pinks. I didn't want anything to clash, so I decided to go with a white satin. I absolutely love a white satin ribbon. There's just something about it that's classy and beautiful and fresh, and yeah, I just love that. So I'm going to create a 4-loop bow, and what I'm going to do is attach this bow, which, by the way, the loops, I want to say, are around maybe 9 inches. Folding over my loops, pinching it in the center, twisting my ribbon so I have the good side of the ribbon facing up. And I'm going to create a center loop. Now, what I'm going to be doing, as I started to say, is I'm going to be attaching this bow to a piece that is going to serve as the hanger. And I'm going to show you that here shortly. So I'm going to wrap a pipe cleaner around there, twist it in the back, open up my loops. I'm going to twist that ribbon, and I'm just going to form one little center loop by curling it under, just like that, placing my thumb down to hold it. Then I'm going to take my pipe cleaner from around the back that I used to secure all those other loops, pop it right through that center loop to have it secure there, twist it in the back. Now I'm going to snip off my tail from the spool at around the same length. I left about I want to say around 12-inch tail there. So I'm just going to do a gentle fold, pop it right through the center loop, marry it up with the tail on the bottom. Now, those tails can be as short or as long as you like them. But my thought when I was making this bow was to kind of give my tails a little bit of a curl. I thought that would be pretty with this piece. I'm just angling the ends of my ribbon. You could dovetail if you like. I am more of an angler. Okay, now I have a pretty little bow and a beautiful white satin ribbon. I want to say that ribbon I had gotten on Craft Outlet maybe at some point in time. You could use any ribbon that you like. Like I said, you could use a narrow ribbon if you don't want to put a bow on it. You could use any ribbon that you like on this. So I'm going to cut a piece around 20 inches. And I'm going to attach that in the back to those wood pieces that go down the heart that hold all the sections together. I'm going to fold my ribbon in half to find the center point. I'm going to pinch it right at the halfway mark. Take a little piece of pipe cleaner and wrap it around there. Now this is how I like to do my hangers. When I hang a wreath or a sign, put a little piece of pipe cleaner there and I wrap it around, twist it in the back to keep that gathered and in the center there. I snip that off and just fold it down. All right, now I'm going to lay my ribbon down, making sure that my shiny part of my satin ribbon is facing the front and the other side is facing me as I place this on the piece. So I'm just going to kind of fold up the ends of my ribbon a little bit to match the width of that wood piece. And I'm just going to hot glue that down. Now, this is a very lightweight piece. If you want more security, other than the hot glue, you could use a different type of glue, or you could use a piece of felt on top of that. If you want, I don't think it's necessary, but yeah, you do you. If you would rather do that, you could put a little piece of felt on there. I'm going to do the other side. I'm just going to give that ribbon a little bit of a fold there. And I'm going to hot glue down the end right there as well. And now I have a hanger. Now I'm going to be just turning that piece over and I'm going to attach that bow that I made right to that hanger, right at the point where we gathered it. Now you see how we have the shiny side of the ribbon up there? And then I'm going to attach that bow right there where that pipe cleaner is on the hanger. Now I'm going to open up my pipe cleaners. I don't need them quite that long. And I'm just going to wrap them around that little area that I gathered on that hanger piece. And that's going to be the part of the hanger. That's going to look really pretty on like a door or, wherever you hang it. It's just going to be beautiful. I think it was a great idea to use a bow for this piece, but not necessarily attached to the wood sign. I think the wood sign looks beautiful just like it is with the scrapbook paper and the hearts. But this bow really adds something to this piece. Now, I'm going to be curling my ribbons a little bit. You could do this by hand, or you can use like some type of cylinder type thing, like a deco mesh tube. I saved those deco mesh spools. That's the word I'm looking for. Those work great for curling ribbon, or you could do it by hand. I also think the white was really pretty because all of those scrapbook papers have a white background. So that really, as far as my opinion, I think the white satin looks beautiful. But again, you could do anything that you like. Really have fun with the scrapbook papers. To me, that's what they are. Just so much fun. Okay, so I created a little loop with a pipe cleaner. I wrapped it around the area of the bow with the center loop, twisted it in the back, and now I have my finished heart. Now I think that was just such a beautiful piece, so affordable, so easy to make. I love it. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this tutorial. And leave me your comments. Let me know what you think of this one. And maybe how you would finish it. What you would do different. I love hearing your ideas. Okay, until next time, you all take care.